Hello everyone and welcome to Stefan's podcast, the podcast for everything Japanese news. Hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. We have got some great news stories for you, so let's jump straight into them. The first news story is coming out of Japan today, and this I found absolutely hilarious. Not paying any dating expenses at all is listed as domestic violence by a Japanese government agency. This story is ridiculous. I just imagined there being a support group for people who have been domestically abused by their partner. You've got poor little Deborah, she's been thrown down the stairs by her husband. You've got an emotionally abusive boyfriend. You've got it all. And then you've got this one little Japanese guy just sitting in the corner. They've all gone round, told their horror stories, and he's sitting there going, and you wouldn't believe it. My wife makes me pay for a dinner. It's unbelievable. My bank account is going down. I can't survive this. Oh my God, are you okay? This is awful. I will say, Japan get many things right. Dating, they do lots and lots of things wrong. I cannot believe that this is considered a domestic abuse now. This is crazy. This is what I like to call just dating. But if they're forcing you to pay it, I can kind of understand, but all they've put here is not paying any dating expenses at all, listed as domestic violence. Oh my God. The amount of women who have domestically violenced me is unbelievable. I've been on many first dates. I didn't even know. The first date I went on, God, I've been domestically abused. Ugh. Life. Maybe the Japanese have got some things right. I will tell you that. Domestically abused. Unbelievable. And there's one date that I went on. I didn't even like the person and I still ended up paying for it. I didn't even like them and I was being domestically abused. Unbelievable. Oh, what a news story. Maybe Japan have got it right. I am never paying more than 1% on a date ever again because I don't want to domestically abuse them. But as long as I'm paying something, then that's okay. I just see this news story as a good way to be cheap. And yeah, Japan when it comes to dating, not so good. I am yet to meet someone who has told me a fantastic story about going on a date with a Japanese person. But there we go. We shall see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, next news story for you. Oh, we're actually going to go to the UK for a moment because I've got one UK story and I just think this is an interesting one. The world's first AI camera to target drink drivers, and they have this monstrosity of a camera system set up, and I have to say I do not like this. So the UK is testing AI cameras to target drink drivers, and they've put this up in a field in either Devon or Cornwall, and it's tracking all the people's driving, how they're driving, to see if they can find people who are drink driving. And up the road they're going to have a police officer who probably gets a ping, and then he goes out and pulls over the car that he suspects is drink driving. But how much more surveillance do the government need on people driving in the UK? Driving in the UK has become nothing more of an absolute horror story. It's a nightmare. When you go to London, I was stressed out all the time if I was going to get a speeding ticket, if I was going to go into a wrong lane, take a left. They just don't want people to drive anymore, or what they want is to try and get as much money as humanly possible out of everyone in the UK. And you know for a fact, after about 6 weeks a year, they're going to convert these machines to not only track for speeding, they're going to track for people texting on the phone. That one you shouldn't do, that's bad. Texting on your phone, speeding, anything else. And anyone who drives, it's unbelievably easy to pick up a speeding ticket by mistake. You think you're in a wrong bit, you go too fast. Oh, I hate these things. The government just wants to get as much money out of people in the UK as humanly possible. I've noticed as well, they've changed the speeding. This machine is an absolute monster to track for it. I've never seen anything like this. This is like a crane system. I'm going to put a picture of it up here because it's so just unbelievable, this machine. How much money has this cost? And how much money do the UK government think they're going to get out of it? Because I bet it's a fortune. These machines, I imagine, are also going to start being put up around London, start monitoring the ULEZ, because they look more difficult to cut down than a normal ULEZ camera, which are getting cut down everywhere. When it comes to driving enforcement, the UK has done everything to hurt the driver, and it's not good. It sucks. It really, really does. I hate it. But there we go. So let's go to the next news story for you. Oh, this was an interesting one. This is Christmas spending in Japan. So And I found this really interesting. So, of course, Christmas is coming up. Everyone is tight for money at the moment with various things in Japan. The yen has fallen through the roof, so everything costs more. And I was actually surprised to see what is the average a parent spends on their child here in Japan. Of course, Christmas in Japan is definitely not the same as Christmas in the UK. We make much more of a song and dance with it. Kids get a lot more presents than they do here in Japan. This is just what I've observed when I talk to some of my students about what you're going to get for Christmas. And some of them are like, oh, I'm going to get this one thing, and then that's pretty much it. Whereas in the UK, I feel like we get a couple more presents. So the average parent spends on their kids apparently is about 5,688 yen, which is about $37, which I thought was particularly low. What is the average in the UK or the US? I would have assumed it's around what, 100 pounds, $100? Is that right? Am I guessing a fair estimate? Because every time I hear what does a kid want for Christmas, they want a video game, that's 40 or 50 pounds off the bat. They then want maybe something else, or they want a console. A console is what, 300-400? I would have thought that's about an average in the UK, and I just found it interesting how they were complaining about spending this much, and I was like, wow, this is way less than the UK. But prices have gone up in Japan. I've noticed a few things going up since I've been here, and I've only been here for 2 years, so it is not good. But if you ever come to Japan for Christmas, it's very different, I will say that. It's not nice. In Japan, they also don't get Christmas off like we do in the UK, and they don't get Boxing Day. So it's a very, very weird place to be for Christmas, because it's really just a normal day. Like last 2 years I've been here for Christmas, one of them I was sick, the other one I ended up going to the gym for and came home, didn't do like a Christmas dinner, I just cooked myself a nice little steak, and that was a very good day. And the only reason that I didn't go to work that day was because it was just fell on a weekend. So Christmas in Japan, not what you expect. It really isn't. I think if you get a chance and you live in Japan, try and go home for Christmas, because it's not as good. Certainly not on my island. In fact, the first year I was here, I think I went the whole Christmas without even seeing like a Christmas decoration. So yeah, not the same. Very, very different in Japan. Of course, they're not Christians, so they don't celebrate it the same way that we do. They don't get the days off, because why would they get a day off for a Christian holiday? But yeah, very different. And also, their kids, if you're in Japan, you do not get the gifts like you do in the UK or the US. I do wonder, when do Japanese kids get more presents? I know in the new year they get money from their grandparents, which they say they really like, and some of my students have said they've got like 10,000 yen off their grandparents each year. So that is some good money, but their parents don't seem to give them as much gifts as we do in the UK and the US. Even for their birthdays, they don't seem to get as much. That's just something I've noticed. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a day that I've completely missed that they get more gifts, or maybe my kids just are unlucky, and it could be true because I live on an island. I don't live in a big metropolitan city where the parents are probably pulling in more money, but there we go. Next news story coming up for you is space sake. If there's one thing that people love, it's when billionaires get to do something absolutely crazy. And a Japan brewer is to create a first space sake, which is a sake which is made literally in space. So what they're going to do is they're going to send all of the materials that you need for sake, and they're going to put it into a rocket and send it to space, and they're going to brew it inside of this little space station thing. So if there's one thing that, it costs an absolute fortune to send anything up to space. If it's one thing that I'm sure people have always wanted, is a bottle of sake. And you're probably wondering, how much is the sake going to sell for? They plan to sell one bottle of this thing for 100 million yen. They're only going to produce one bottle, and it's going to cost the average buyer 659,000. I imagine there is probably some poor little space agency desperate to test some brand new Scientological thing. They want to send it up to space, and they're like, oh, sorry, we can't. They're sending a bottle of sake up. They're going to make sake in space, so we can't possibly send it up there. Also, someone's got to, maintain this? I guess if it's alcohol, it just kind of sits there, doesn't it? So you don't have to worry about it. How does the temperature work for it? The worst thing is, this is probably going to go into space and absolutely disgusting, right? Because you got to have, if it's like beer, it has to be in a warm temperature. I mean, maybe in space, inside the space station, they keep it warm. But I just found this another one of these things where you just go, yeah, this is a billionaire thing, and I am definitely never, ever, ever going to try anything like that. The crazy thing is, you're probably wondering, how big is the bottle that they're going to make? Is it going to be like a litre, something like that? No, it is a single 100 milliliter bottle. That is tiny. That's what? That's like a shot? That is so small. That's not even, that's 100 million yen? Some people, you imagine the things that you could do with that, 500,000. You could kit out of school, you can do anything, but no, you're going to buy a bottle of sake. Dude, that is not a good use of your money. It certainly isn't. I can tell you that now. And I imagine this is going to go up for bidding, and this is going to go for more than 100 million yen. What do you think? How much do you think this is going to go for? Get your guesses in the comment. How much is this one bottle of sake going to cost? I'm going to guess it's going to be way more than 100 million yen, because they'll put this up for auction. There is no way that this goes for just that fixed number. It's certainly not. But next news story for you, we have, oh yes, this is a little Japanese bank story. Japan's largest bank apologizes over a theft of more than 100 billion yen from a safe deposit box. That is an extraordinary amount of money. So that must be, if 100 million yen is $659,000, you're looking at what? 6 million? Is that right? So you're looking at about 6 million? Yeah, you're looking at about $6 million have been stolen from safe deposit boxes, and it was done by an employee. What they were doing was basically using their employee status to go in and steal the money. And how do you steal that much money, and what do you do with it, and how do you not know that you're going to get caught? It's interesting. I was reading the news story on the Japanese article, and there seems to be, I was reading this story on the English article, and there seems to be a lot more from this story that isn't in the English version, because in the comments they are saying how there's more than this. They're saying apparently the woman who stole it, and it was a woman, which you didn't say in the article, apparently is saying that this woman was also going to host bars and spending money on that, and how she is yet to be arrested for this. She has been cooperating with the police but hasn't been arrested, and so far no punishment has come from this. We'll see, maybe in the next couple of days something will happen. But it's just funny to me in the comments that people were saying, what are the Japanese bank going to do about this? Are they going to fix it? Are they going to put any new systems in? Nope, we're just going to apologize, and that's the end of it, because we've apologized. It's like, what about all the money that just went missing? No, you see, what we've done is we've apologized. Are you going to pay the people back who lost the money? No, I don't think you understand.
Sorry.
We've apologized. We've bowed, we've done the thing, so it's over. If my bank account was in there, I'd be like, I don't think it's over. Sometimes everyone thinks the Japanese do these things, they apologize, and then, oh, how humble they are, they apologize, but it's kind of almost like a cop-out that they do. They've gone, no, we've said sorry, so that's all we can do. We have apologized. I apologize. Come on inside. It's like, no, you could do a lot more here. Shogunai. No, more can be done. This is not Shogunai. You could pay the people back. No, Shogunai. I don't think so, Japan. I don't think so. But we'll see. Maybe the bank will do something to pay these people back. But in the story here, it doesn't say that they have paid anyone back. It doesn't say that they're going to set up any security measures in the future. So do better, Japanese bank. I think a little bit better. Not the world difficult. Make sure your employees don't steal the money that you're meant to take care of. But it's a bank. Hey, everyone gets screwed in a bank apart from the bankers. Yeah, there's one people I hate. It's bankers, real estate agents, and yeah, that's a good start. There's a longer list, but those are the main two. Those are the main people. DMV as well. No one likes going down to the DMV. And speeding tickets. No one likes a speeding ticket. But there we go. This news story that we're coming up to now has been going on for, I think this news story was one of the first news stories I reported on my podcast, being in Japan, and I think it is unbelievably stupid. So new fencing has been installed to help manage tourism at Mount Fuji photo stop. So about a year ago now, they put up a fence over a Lawson's to stop people standing in the street and taking the picture of the Lawson's and the Mount Fuji in the background, because it was becoming like an iconic thing. People were going there. It looked really cool. It looked very Japanese. And the Japanese government have just spent just no expense on trying to stop people taking pictures there, and they've now put in a brand new barrier system to prevent people from taking photos there. And I dread to think how much they have spent in committee meetings, how much they've spent thinking about this, how much they've spent putting these fences up. They had to install fences multiple times because they would get damaged, because what someone would do is they had like these mesh fences before. People would cut holes in them so that they could take a picture from it. And the Japanese government is still doing everything humanly possible to stop people taking photos there. I don't know what to say, Japan. They have some big problems here as every country does. But the most important thing is, no, we have to stop these tourists taking a picture of the Lawson and the Mount Fuji. This is a threat to society, and this is the biggest problem that we have in Japan. What about the falling birth rate? No, this is the biggest problem we have. They cannot take a photo of a Lawson's and a Mount Fuji. How dare they? How dare they? How dare you? Don't you come to Japan and take a picture of a Lawson's and a Mount Fuji. You're just an embarrassment. You're foreigners coming here to Japan, my lovely Japan, and taking a picture of the Mount Fuji. It's ridiculous. Madness. Okay, but next news story for you. Yes, next news story and last one for today. This is actually a story which I'm a bit in two places with. So Japan's next energy plan will not minimize nuclear energy. So after the Fukushima disaster, the Japanese government set out a plan to basically wean themselves off of nuclear energy and not use it anymore because of what happened. They don't want to destroy their lands. Nuclear energy has a lot of problems. Of course it does. If it goes wrong, it's a nightmare. You only need to look at Chernobyl and Fukushima to know why it's bad. But they are saying as a new plans, because recently this year they've started reusing a load of nuclear power stations to get their energy up, which I don't think is a terrible idea. Nuclear power freaks me out. I don't like it at all. I just don't. When it goes wrong, it's a nightmare. Especially, you look at the history of Chernobyl, how they had to send divers in to try and fix the plant because it was leaking so much radiation and these divers died going in to do it. I don't like it. But on the flip side, how many people have died mining coal? How many people have died mining oil, trying to get oil out of it? I bet it's into the hundreds of millions. Probably overall, nuclear is more safe. Can we agree on that? I mean, how many people have died in the 200 years doing both? I bet coal and nuclear is coal and oil is way higher than nuclear. But it scares me. But so what they're saying is we're going to go back to nuclear energy, but what we're going to do is actually, I think, smart as a country. And they are planning to not rely too much on one singular source of energy. So they're going to split their bets. So they're going to try and get their energy from oil, they're going to try and get their energy from electric, they're going to try and get it from wind, they're going to try and get it from nuclear, and spread that around the board as much as possible so that if there's a problem, they have energy from multiple places. And I actually think this is a good idea. I think the UK should do this because, like we had during COVID when the Russian supply and the Ukraine war, the prices of electricity went absolutely through the roof. I mean, oh God. When I was here in Japan and my mum and dad were telling me how much they were paying for electricity and how during the winter they were trying to keep the heating off and whatever, I was here in Japan. I was getting like a very, very cheap electricity bill. I think my highest electricity bill here has been like 50, 60 pounds. I'm not joking. And there was one winter I was sick and I was having that on a good amount of the time. I certainly was. So it is smart to do this. Hedge your bets and try and make the cost of energy as cheap as possible for the person who's paying for it, because it affects lives. This is a huge, huge thing. That year, that was bad. I mean, last year was bad for electricity prices. I don't know how much it is now in the UK. I assume it's gone down, or maybe my parents have just gotten used to it, but I don't hear as much complaining from them as I used to do about the cost of everything. That's why everyone's gone to, what are those little ovens now? They've moved to, every person or every news story I see in the UK is about those little portable ovens. It's not like a fry cooker, what do you call it? The cooker, the grill, I'm getting dementia. Portable grill, deep fat fry, I don't know. There's a new oven, people love it. It makes food quickly and doesn't use as much electricity. It's early in the morning. I can't remember. Give it a Google. Everyone knows what it is. These fry cooks, oh, brain's gone, given up. You can tell it's getting towards the end of the podcast, but that is pretty much every single news story that I have for today. I will be back in the next couple of days. The next podcast will be on the road, baby, because I'm heading away for the next couple of days, heading over to Ehime and then the old Korea. So I'll do a podcast from both there. And I'll see you in the next couple of days. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy your Christmas period if I don't see you before then, and have a happy new year. Goodbye.